live on Facebook. Let me control. And on Instagram, I have to check. Hello, everyone. If you see us, you can write us where you are watching us from. Yes, Instagram is also on board. So you are all welcome to another episode of Balance and Harmony Hour. And today I have a lovely, esteemed guest. I'm so happy, so privileged, so blessed to have her on the show today. So her name is Professor. She's a professor on my show.
Oh,
She's a
wow.
Professor Abiola Lanre Awoshika Fakwetu. We call her Grandma Prof. And
Yes,
you
and I
cannot call
like
her
it.
Grandma Prof. Oh, you cannot call her. It's only we that are connected. And she's a professor. She's also the CEO and rector of Oasis Monotechnic and Sanctum Startup College in Lagos. And she offers also some different online courses. And I'm privileged to have you, Ma. You are welcome on the show. God bless you, Ma.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, like we know, for the past 8 weeks or so, we have been doing a review of my book, "Create the Life of Your Dream." If you are yet to get the book, is on Amazon. You can get it. Create the Life of Your Dream. So we have been doing like a book review. I've also been learning from my guests more on each chapter of the book. And today we jumped over to chapter 9. We're talking about your support system. There's one scripture the Bible says that I like to quote. It says, "One will put a flight 1,000, but two will put to flight 10,000. That's the power of your support system. And for me also, your support system is a soft landing spot where you will get a place to be strong and a place to rise. So today, from our wealth of experience, our wealth of knowledge, our Grandma Prof will be teaching us on the value, the power, the benefit of a support system. Thank you, Ma.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And congratulations on your book.
Thank you,
Um,
Ma.
I thank you. You sent me a chapter which I looked at very quickly, and I reread it again. And even though it's not what we're going to be talking about today, I um, I found it very interesting that you would be as organized, and I think it's all of you, all 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 of you and your siblings and everybody else. You're organized. We give you something and you just lay it out and you just run with it. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I cannot be this organized. I cannot.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's because of my experience. I asked myself when I was your age, uh, what what was I like? And it was not even half as organized as you were, or as
Oh,
the book says to be. And it's a question of my life. At that time, it was a mixture between work and children and school. And so when you have to do your homework on the bus, it's very
hmm.
hard to be organized. Or you have to do your assignment at the park, because that is the only time that you have. So I thought, all right, well, so how did I get where I am today if I am not as organized as I ought to be? And first, I give the credit to what we're talking about today, which is the support system. But then, second of all, the fact that I had a major in business, helped me get ready for some of these things, time management, strategic goals and things like that. And so it's somewhat what it worked out for me. When we're talking about a support system, I have four main support systems. And the first one is God. Because whether you like it or not, people are not going to be there all the time. But the Holy Spirit is always there. And so I find myself, when I was vice president and dean of academics at Montreat College, I found myself whenever my boss, who was the president, would come into my office and say, "Hey, Abby, I have a question for you." He just walks in. He doesn't knock. He doesn't tell me he's coming. He's bringing his problem, and he wants me to give him a solution. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what he's going to ask, but Lord, you do. And so give me the words for him. And so, and every time, unfailingly, the Holy Spirit would give me an answer for what my boss wants, or what my subordinates want, or what my children want, what my family wants. So the Spirit of God is number one in my support system, and I rely on him extensively. You have to, otherwise you can't survive. And then family. I'm very close to my siblings, and when we were having a conversation with a friend, having any, and she said, "What are you talking about? You're one of 9. Your siblings are your friends, And so I was like, yeah, that's right. My siblings are my friends, and especially the sisters. I mean, we're 4 female, and we talk every day. Every day, I'm on the phone. Our late sister, God rest her soul, the 2 of them have gone to be with the Lord now. They would be on the phone. My younger sister will be on the phone. So we are really connected, and I know these are people that I can depend on, and I can rely on them. And if I tell them something, and they say no or whatever, I think of it again, before I make my decision. So my family is a strong support system for me. And then I found out that the third support system is business, my work. I mean, wherever I work, I build a system in that particular place. I remember when I was at when I was at Montreat College, again in the United States, and I was made the vice president and dean of academics. And the first thing that I did was I chose 3 people, and I said, guys, you are going to be my accountability partner. I said, I can come to you when I'm having problems, and you can call me and say, hey, Abby, I want to get on your calendar now because you need your head straightened out. So please, I give you the freedom to do just that. And so I had those 3, and we were like, 3 peas in a pod. And in fact, one of them was at that time was a 60-year-old physics professor. And I know Lloyd he would not lie to you. He would tell you straight. And so I said, Lloyd, you're my number one accountability partner. And so, and he was there. Once I see him in my doorway, I'm like, okay, Lloyd, what did I do or not do? And this was as a top a leader with the university. I mean, and these are people who answer to me, but I wanted to answer to them, and I want to have the ear of the people. I want to know what is going on, so that I can at least set myself straight. So and then when I came to Nigeria, I found out that my business uh, was also a place that I could find support. And it would take a few years, and it took me a few years, or with some, it was from the beginning. As soon as they came on board, I knew this was someone I could trust, and I relied on them very greatly. So I have selected people that I know that whatever happens, they can never betray you. They will always be loyal to you. They will always have your back. And and when you give them an assignment, you can just go home and sleep because they got it, and they're gonna even do it better than you yourself can do it. So I built some of that sort of relationship around myself, and then my fourth uh, network and support system. And also talking about business, I have other support systems outside of my immediate environment. For example, men and women, young men and women that I had worked with on projects that are still with me today, and we still get together, we still talk. If I have something that I need to research, I still call them. They are people that they make my load lighter. They make my load lighter. um, I know if I open my email inbox right now, I know that 60 to 70% of the things that come in, I can easily just send it to somebody. Somebody has it. It's like Miss So and So, could you deal with this? Miss So and So, could you deal with it? These are my support systems, and that's how useful and how incredible these men and women are. And then my fourth is my church. Anywhere that I am in the world, my church is part of my support system. It's the whole church or my church group. I always like to when I come into a church, uh, I always like to plug into a group. Plug in somewhere, where I can serve, and when the time comes when they can serve me too, when I'm helpless, but mostly, where can I serve? How can I serve the people? How can I serve the Lord? So and this same group are the ones that serve as my support system whenever I need the help. So yeah, my when you think about it, you say, how do you build a network of support? Building is hard, so you don't just rely on your support system. I mean, it's not for you to say, okay, I got these people, they're there to look after me. When I have my issues, I'll just raise it, and they no, you have to nurture the support system. So it's not just about take, 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 take. It's about also giving and giving and giving. You know, I look at my, my Lord has my whole life. Whatever He wants to do with it, He's free to do. And so, and it's not easy to get there. You can't get to that point very easily. You have to be in the Word. You have to be in prayer. You have to. I told a colleague of mine one day, we were talking, and I said, "Oh, please be praying for me. I'm gonna need your prayers." And he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. All I have to say when I get to God is, God, Abby sent me. He knows you." I'm like, "Oh, well," I said, "Well, thank you."
I like that.
Yeah, so I was like, "Well, thank you." It's, you know, it's good that some people see God in your life. They see God playing out in your life, but it costs you something. It's, you know, you have to nurture that relationship. You've got to nurture that relationship, and you know how to do it. You pray, you read the Word, you talk to Him. You know, it's you know, he's your friend, He's your buddy. So you nurture that relationship. Take take my family for example. Not all siblings are friendly. You don't. I mean, I know families where the siblings hate each other. They don't talk, you know. But my siblings, I mean, when we visit for a very long time, and then we say, "All right, it's time for us to go," and then you get out, and then you stand in the driveway
Right.
and you visit for another hour, and then you get in the car, and then you visit again for another 30 minutes. So it's it's just it's just a wonderful experience. I mean, my siblings will go all out to support me, and I would them. So it's give and take. You have to. I mean, if you don't, if you're not friendly towards your siblings, then they can't return the friendship.
That's
They
true.
cannot return the favor.
That's
And
true.
then I look at business. You can ask people to do things for you, and you don't do for them. So as these people are showing their reliability, as they are showing their loyalty, as they're showing their friendliness, as they're showing how they care for you, you have to care for them in return. You have to care for them in return. Um, yes, you pay your salary, so what? But then it's in the extra little things. It's in the
Exactly.
how deal with them. It's how you, how you care about them. That is when, you know, the support group actually is solid. So you have to nurture your business support as well, and then church. Oh, you can't you can't just be bring in church, and then you expect the church to stand by you and, you know, help you in time of need. So yes, you must nurture the church relationship as well. So it's important, you know, that we should uh, whatever it is. If you look behind you and there's nobody, then ask yourself, you know, have you been a supportive member of your group? Have you been have you been there for anybody? People would look at me and you know, I hate to age myself, but age is but a number. But you know, when you're 70 and and you're looking at, and again, this is not being morbid. You know, you're looking, I mean, the end is closer than the beginning. I mean, you're closer to the end than when I started. And so if you're looking at 70, and then you look at me, and every time somebody invites me, and first of all, I enjoy gathering with people, church gathering, parties, oh, I'm there, because there's another support system that we have in Nigeria. It's a social security support system.
That's true.
Because you say, "Oh, just go to parties all the time." Well, no, it's a system. You go there and you let go of your stress, and you enjoy the company of people. And when you think about it, the party industry in Nigeria is a multi-billion dollars industry, because when you think of the decoration and the food and the ushering and all the little details and the ashwebi and the ankara and everything, all those little details, is just to say you're part of my network. I want to belong, and and you have pockets of those that you're invited to and you belong to, and I can't. And so when I look at my age, and I'm thinking, one of these days, people are going to be called to say, Grandma Prof has gone to be with the Lord. How many people will show up there? So now when people say, I'm having a naming ceremony, I carry my bag, I follow them. When some people say, we're getting married, I carry my bag. I mean, you probably think she has time. Yes, I have time, because I want what I'm getting ready for what I want my end to be. So I am building my network whichever way I see it. So yes, it's incredible, what's your network, if you support it, that the network can do for you.
Exactly. You said something about your debt. Can I rephrase what you said, so that when you are going to be celebrating your 100th birthday, which people are going to show for you? Because your debt, we're not even seeing it. It's not in the skies yet. So it's your birthday. It's your birthday, we are still seeing it. So when you're going to be 100, people will be flying in from everywhere
I'm going to be
to represent.
Yeah, but I want to do the work now when I have the energy.
That's true. That's true.
But yes, no. It's not time yet. I have a lot to do. I have a lot of dreams. A lot of dreams that I still need to be accomplished.
Wow.
A lot of people are depending on me, to be alive and do those things.
That's great.
And yes, absolutely.
That's great. That's great. So let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question, Ma?
Absolutely.
Okay. You said all these things. You talked about God, you talked about the business, family, and church. And I think the average person has these things. Maybe their business is their work, but still yet they don't have a support system. With their God, once they have a disappointment, they had an exam, they put in for a proposal or something and they don't get it, they'll say, God, why did you leave me? Why were you not there for me? So, but you are saying, God is there for me. So what are they seeing or doing differently? You understand? They are in church, they don't have anybody, although they have been going to that church. What are they doing differently? Why are they not having that support system that they are supposed to have in these places that they meet people almost every day?
Okay. I didn't hear all of the things that you said, but are you talking about people who depend on God and then they say God is not responding to them?
Yeah, that God is not supporting them because they failed at something. You get me, ma?
Okay. Well, you see, it takes knowing God. If you know your God, you will know that his promises are not empty. If he says he will do something, he will do it. That is what he will do. However, we set our timing according to our own clocks, not according to his will. So if God is not answering you, then the problem might be in one of two places. You're not in his will, or you're in his will, but he's saying, wait. And even while you're going through all of those troubles and everything looks like it's chaos, God is still there, standing right by you, because he says he will never leave you nor forsake you. He's never going to do that. So he's standing right there and he's watching. And a lot of the chaos and the problems and the troubles are meant to help you, to help you be stronger. It was like I was reading in James yesterday. I was preparing a devotion for my classes in the US. Yes, I teach for a Christian university, so we're allowed to share devotions and scriptures. And I was preparing James, and he says, "Count it all joy when all trials avail you, because it builds perseverance." And so while you're going through that trial, God is building you up. He says, so that we can now become mature and lack for nothing. So you will be, God will be all sufficient for you. But you have to get there. You have to understand what the Lord is doing in your life at that time. And take make sure that you do not deny or deviate from what God has planned for your life, because otherwise it's going to be more trouble. You're never going to see the light. So when God says wait, wait. And when he says no, then find another way. If you have a sense that God is saying no to this this project or this business or whatever it is that you're doing, then try another way. Try a different strategy. Something has got to work. So understand the God that you serve, and he will he's true to his word. I can tell you that categorically. I have experienced him. It's gotten to where I know God so much. I mean, a lot of people would tell you take the building project that we did, that I did when I got back to Nigeria. And every time people will say, Grandma Prof is always saying she doesn't have money. And then she's doing all this and she's building. And it's true. I didn't have money when I started, but I knew that I heard God. And he said, girl, It's time. And I'm like, God, it is time for what? And he still tells me it's time to pull up the roof on this building and take it up, 2 more floors. I'm like, who is going to pay for it? I do not have money right now. As I'm standing here before you, this is me and God arguing, right here. As I'm standing before you, I only have 1 million naira. You want me to, it will take 1 million to remove the roof. Oh, what kind of, I said, it is time. And I said, okay. And I did. And I just called the architect. I said, architect, can you work with 1 million naira? I want to remove this roof and take it to 2 floors. He said he could. Okay. So we're all together then. God is going to use you to perform this miracle. And he did it. So he has never failed me. He has never failed me. So I know if it's not working, it's because he wants something else for me. It is not the way to go. That's not, not that he doesn't love me, or that he doesn't care about me. He does. And so those people need to just stand firm, be steadfast, know your God, and he will come through for you.
I love this song, and I think I first heard it when I was in Nigeria last year. That says, I get back in, I know they walk alone. If you just know that God is at your back, then you trust, you believe, you go with the flow. Sometimes you want to go this way, the flow is taking you this way, you just go with it, because God has a purpose. He has his own timing. Even there's a popular man, it's called Brian Tracy. He said there are no crazy goals, but sometimes we have our own timings that are limited. We want to do it before June, but God is telling you he wants you to do it in 2 years. So our God is always faithful. My next question is this. You were talking about, and the people that you were working with, and we see a lot of betrayals. When we have somebody that is our secretary, our treasurer, whatever, and they betray us because they were close to us. People that don't know us, or people that are not close to us, cannot betray us. So how do you know, okay, this person is qualified to be in my support system? Even your family, you know how people have different categories, and for different problems or different aspects, you go to a different person. For example, if I need some financial kind of support, I know who from my sisters or my brother to go to. If I need spiritual this, I'll know which one to go to because I've seen them. So how do you know your people? How do you know your support system? What are the things you look out for before you bring them in as your support system?
Well, you would know by their behavior. Somebody doesn't just walk into your place of work and then you say, that is someone that I could trust. Even your siblings, even your family, you can say, that's the person that I can trust. No, but they have proven themselves consistently. Every time they never changed. Because you could have a sibling that would come in and just totally destabilize everybody. That's family. But that is not a supporting family. So you have to know by their behavior. If you give someone an assignment and she does it very well, excellently, and then you do it again, and then she does the same thing excellently, and then you do it, definitely you know, okay, I can rely on this one. And it doesn't take forever, you only need to, it needs to be excuse me, project by project. But every project that you give this person, they shine. Every project you give that person, they shine, then you know that definitely this is someone that you can trust. And they don't even have to, they don't have to be your family, they don't have to be your friend. But what I found out is if 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 it's family, and if it's church member that work for you, chances are you can trust them. But again, they have to prove themselves before you can place all of your trust on them. Yes, it's quite possible for an employee to not care, you know, and if they don't care, they will show it in their behavior. And once that type of behavior becomes evident, then you know, this is not someone that I can trust. So if by all means, just watch them, and as like I said, reward them. You know, watch such people and reward such people, so that so that they know that you know that they are reliable.
Thank you.
And so that they can do more.
So what I'm getting from what you are saying is that trust is good, but we need to control, we need to see, we need to observe the consistency of that trust you have in somebody. You have to see that they need to show up all the time or most of the time to meet up to that thing that they are supposed to be responsible for. So no matter how we trust them, we need to see that they are doing something towards that. Then you also talked about giving and taking. Sometimes we just feel, just like you said, you have workers, you just pay them and you feel, they have done what I want to do for them. So that's all. Or you going the extra step, talking to them and being there for them in little things makes a big difference. I learned that in my own life at work. I'm not the boss of where I work, but after work, I always tell them, "Oh, thank you for your work today." They look at me and say, "Why are you thanking me? I've earned my money." I say, "Still, thank you." And little gestures. And once I just say, who's going to help me to do this thing? You see that people are already there because you are giving something. So what my point is that why do people, a lot of people, why do they demand something, but they don't give it? They demand respect, they demand support, they demand loyalty, but to an extent they have not earned it just because they are boss or they are older. You should greet me first. I'm older than you, or you are boss, and they don't give it. What can you say to such people?
First of all, age has nothing to do with it. And I have a belief that respect begets respect. And so even my students, the secondary school students, I do show them respect, in the sense that I don't talk to them anyhow. I expect, that they want to be treated well, and so I treat them well. So the same thing goes for the employee that's not even the stellar employee. The employee that just, I want to come to work and I want to do my bit and go home. I want to convert that person. I want to convert him to my support group. Maybe not necessarily to serve me or be directly responsible to me, but to support my vision. Because there's a reason the school is there. It's for the children. And the teachers are supposed to be one of the people that will help them grow the way that they should grow. So we don't want a disgruntled person, whether you are old or you are young or whatever it is that you are. We want you to be friendly, to be, for the children to feel. I mean, you may not be loving. Some people are just like that. They can't show love, but at least don't show hate. So don't show the opposite, and be there, do your work. So because you're supposed to teach, so teach them, let the children see that you are giving them whatever it is that they need. And I know a few people among the people that I work with now, that all they want is, they want to do their jobs, and they do their jobs very well. And when you see that, oh, okay, they're not for, fraternizing or something, you just give them their due respect. Hello, Miss so and so. Hello, Mr. So and so. Thank you very much. Thank you for what you do. Greet them and go away. And hopefully they like that, because they don't want to mix or be, or their nature is not friendly. They love their students, they want to teach their students, but then they don't want to pali with you. So that's okay. It's acceptable, but overall, we don't want any disgruntled elements in among our people. So you show them love, the quantity that they can take,
I like
and
that.
you leave them. Yeah.
Thank you so much. In case you're just joining us, we're talking about your support system, and Grandma Prof talked about 4 support systems that are very important for our God, our family, business, and the church. So I have 2 questions before I release you. The first one is, have you, in your experience, have you experienced someone in your support system letting you down? For example, last year, he's not in my support system, but was supposed to be my support system. Someone was supposed to do my house for me, supposed to do some work in the house so that I can move in. And every day he keeps telling me, oh, by this Friday, everything will be okay. I'll come in on Friday. And he has not done anything, and it's so disappointing. So, you've trusted somebody, relied on somebody, and they didn't meet up. Have you experienced that? And what were you able to do in such situations?
Oh boy, have I experienced disappointment. Of course I've experienced disappointment, and usually what I would do is, I will call you and I will tell you that, you have disappointed me, and I will leave it there. Now, one particular case, this past, I think, no, it must be like 2 or 3 years now. And I found out that my person, in fact, I think I must show her more love than I show my children. And we were working together, and we finished a project. And then she went to another school and got a project on her own. Whereas we had a contract that we would do projects together.
Oh, okay.
And she went behind me and got the project on her own. And then when it looked like, things were not going to go well, she now came to me and asked me to step in. And I'm like, when you were going, she should have known. The project that we did for OAU before, the reason they brought me on was because I was a professor and I was, sort of an adult, because they were too young for the universities to trust them. I said, so you knew this, and then you went to another school and got a project without me. and now you need my help. But you know what? I helped her. She wanted me to go to the university to defend her project. I went and I defended her project. You know, has it taken anything off of me? No, nothing. We're still friends, even till now. It's not going to stop anything. So yeah, you will be disappointed, but don't let that stop you. It's I mean, if you fight over a disappointment forever, when are you going to have another opportunity for them to disappoint you again? If you're not friendly with them. So yeah, absolutely.
But do you continue, Ma?
Yes.
Do you continue? Somebody didn't show up to work for you, or didn't meet up with their own side of the deal. Do you continue to have that person as your support system even after that disappointment or betrayal?
Well, you see, because they came on your support system by consistently being excellent. Yeah. When they start being disappointing consistently, then you drop them. That means something has happened. Either they have allowed the enemy to come between you guys, or they are, something happened and they're no longer, reliable. And so, yeah, you don't cut them off. You just don't rely on them, like you used to. So everybody will show themselves, like we always say, everybody will show themselves, and whatever it is that they show you, that is what you would use to react to them.
Exactly. Thank you for that, because people really need to know that when people show you who they are, you have to take them for who they are, especially if they've been consistent.
Yeah.
Showing you who they are. You take them for who they are and move on. Like I tell my kids, we have people coming to our life for reasons and for seasons. So maybe their own season in your life is finished and they are going to the next season. So you take it that way. Thank you, Ma. So our parting question is this. What's the thing you're going to say to people or to someone that is listening to us today who is feeling alone, who is feeling unsupported, and who is afraid to ask for help? Some people, I was one of them. I find it difficult to ask for help. What do you say to them?
Well, I will say don't be. Don't be afraid to ask people for help. Don't be afraid to invite people. I mean, you don't actually go out and say, please join my network, but the way you behave to them would show them that they are part of your network. So yeah, don't be afraid. In fact, such people that you're afraid to approach might actually be waiting for you to do that. For you to acknowledge that they are there and that they can be of help. And it's interesting that and again, this is not being morbid, and this is part of my my last thoughts for this occasion. About a few years ago, I lost my son, and it's interesting how my support system worked for me for that singular occasion. My support system all just came as one and just stood by me. And I mean, first of all, God, uh, I'm not worried about him. I know where he is. I mean, he's with the Lord. But God gave me the courage at that time to bear the pain, you know, of losing a child. He would be the second son that I had lost at that time. And my siblings, they you know how when something like that happens, the mother or the father, they're not allowed to hear or even touch anything or go near. So, and my siblings, to the last penny, nobody asked me for a penny, and they spent all the money to do everything, every rites that they needed to do for that young man. There was no disappointment. They paid every single dime. My work support, oh gosh, it was, you know, everybody stood by me. And then now the church, I could not even, I mean, you know how when something happens to you and months later everybody is gone, and you're now looking left and right and to see, okay, so what is left now? The church was still there, still bringing me food, still bringing me, I mean, still asking how I am, still, I mean, it's just, it almost overwhelmed me. And so I thank God for these, for being my number one support system, giving me the Holy Spirit, and then for giving me the type of siblings that I have, and for giving me the group of people to work with, and then finally for giving me such a wonderful, wonderful family church. And it's
Wow.
just amazing, you know, what these people have been able to do for me in my life. And so if you need to invite anyone to be part of your network, watch them carefully. And how they know they're part of your network is, you know, how you relate with them and how you nurture that relationship, and, you know, make sure that they know that you know that they are part of your network.
Thank you so much, Ma. Let me just say, what you just said reminded me of what happened today at work. So a colleague of mine, she had a lot to do. Then I was at the reception and I just called her name. Oh, Meva, can you come please? You have something to do. She now said, for you, I'm there all the time. You know, and that was for me, it just made my day. Just made my day. So if there's anyone here really that you feel alone, then you ask yourself, am I giving? Am I there for other people? Am I just taking without giving? You know, so you can ask, you find it easier to ask when you know you have been giving, when you know you have been there. And sometimes some people say, I don't have anything. You have some things, you have your time, you have the words that you speak to them, you have the calls you make to them. There are small things that you can give that they will know that they are special, or they are in your space. So that's all for today. Thank you so much, Professor Grammar Prof. God bless you. Thank you for your wealth of knowledge and what that you have shared with us. I really, really appreciate you. And thank you for honoring me to be on my platform. I don't take it for granted.
Oh,
I'm so excited,
it's
really.
an honor for me to be here.
God bless you, Ma. So join
Thank
us,
you.
everybody,
Thank you so much.
next week for another episode. Any other word for us, Grandma Prof, before we round up?
Well, again, Just go go out there and be kind to people so that they will be kind to you in return.
Amen. Thank you so much. God bless you all.